which is this toxic play pattern that they printed, by the way, and let's never forget that. But this isn't the problem. Like, so yeah, it's a very interesting like life gain. Like, let's take the mine and any kind of like if your opponent has more monsters than you strategy out of the card. Let's take it out of that environment. What is it really? A mill card by making them draw a card? That's terrible. A weird kind of life gain card? Yep, it's something like that. A discard card? Kind of? The opponent can just play their cards. It's not like it stacks in multiples. Like their hand size doesn't become 2, then 1, then 0.
Right.
So yeah, I don't even think like outside of the box in like normal Yu-Gi-Oh, it's a terrible card.
It is terrible. Yep, this card starts totally fine. This is the only time when I first saw that this card even was being played, I gave up all hope for this game because I was like, that's incredible that we're playing this awful of a card in a deck like this. But it worked. It worked. It filled the role. So yeah, this card is awful. However, it did also fill one very interesting purpose for the deck. And so go ahead and give this card a quick read here.
Lightning Storm is a spell. If you control no face-up cards, activate one of these effects. Destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. Destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. You can only activate once a turn. If you control no face-up cards. So it shuts this card down if your opponent has it? You can't play this?
So Lightning Storm, and give this card a quick read as well here.
So I'm guessing this was meta. Evenly matched.
Oh.
Trap.
Alright,
At the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do,
alright, I guess I do have to test against
banish cards from their field face down. So they control the same number of cards as you do. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand.
So, by giving your opponent a monster, cards that were typically sideboarded, sometimes even main decks during this period, such as Lightning Storm Evenly Matched, that require you to not have any cards on the field, or no face-up cards on the field in the instance of Lightning Storm, Wabi actually shuts down these cards because, think about it, you have the Mystic Mine up, you have the Cauldron up, you have some Solemn Judgment or Dark Bribe set, which I guess if you have those, you could just negate Evenly Matched or Lightning Storm anyway. You basically have a bunch of things on the field that are trying to, like, you know, make sure that your game plan is executed, right? But now all of a sudden you give them this card that shuts down their options to be able to like come back into the game. It's so funny how this like piece of the puzzle fits in with everything. It's hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah. Beautiful technology.
And speaking of more ways, more ways to solidify our strategy, here's another card.
Field Barrier is a continuous spell. And field spells on the field cannot be destroyed. Awesome. Neither player can activate a new field spell card. Why would you? You can only control one field barrier.
What the hell is this custom hand?
Great. Nah, yeah, just keep putting up the layers, man. Yep. Just keep locking it down.
And speaking of locking it down, here's our next one.
Mine doesn't coffee.
Putting up the layers, man. Yep. Just keep locking it down.
And speaking of locking it down, here's our next one.
Is that Prohibition?
Uh-huh.
No drinking?
No drinking.
This is part of a card game. Okay. Spell card continuous. Activate by declaring one card name. Cards with that name and their effects cannot be used. Awesome. Cards already on the field are not affected. Great. Great. That's great. Yeah, just name whatever the meta card is that destroys a field spell. Just keep it going.
Exactly. Yep. And so there were a few cards that people would play that either had the ability to destroy other spells and traps, similar to Lightning Storm, but maybe just not exactly the same. And so by having a card like Prohibition, once you can either take up an educated guess based off the way that the format was of what that card was, or once you saw your opponent maybe play in a previous game, you just Prohibition, call it, and guess what? They're never going to be able to activate it, so their Mystic Mine is going to be perfectly safe.
Yeah, that's the Stream Sniper special if you
literally
play digital client.
Yeah, and here is the final piece of the puzzle.
Goddess Skull's Oracle, continuous spell card. trying to remember the definition of a sentence. Once per turn during your main phase, you can look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, and if you do, place them on top of their deck in any order. But you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except fairy monsters. You can only activate one of these once per turn. So this is... It's also a spell. So this is a spell that you can activate once a turn to just stack their deck. So now you know what they're going to draw.
Exactly. So not only do you know what they're going to draw, if they have a card that is something that could stop your Mystic Mine, you can put it as 3rd card from the top. But if you also have the Prohibition, like you said, now you know what their out is to your Mystic Mine, if they even have it out at all, that if they do draw it, you just activate Prohibition, and now all of a sudden, they can't activate it anyway, so they basically have no way to win the game at all. Isn't that fun?
Yes. Yes. And it reminds me, the Magic players are going to remember this because of a deck that I'll probably show you someday.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are you writing down notes for a future video?
I'm always writing down notes for it. No, I've never written down a note for a future video in my life.
Never.
I probably should.
You've never done that.
Actually, as a professional YouTuber, that would be a good change I could make in 2026. A good resolution to take freaking notes, but I probably won't.
So far, what do you think? That is the first iteration of the deck, essentially just trying to protect the Mystic Mine at all costs, and then also just make it that the opponent's never going to have a way to out the Mystic Mine whatsoever.
Is the defining characteristic of this version the Wabi? That kind of approach?
Not necessarily. It's more so just the fact that it has layers upon layers of way to prevent the mine from being interacted.
Oh, naming cards and further locking opponents.
Correct. Wabi is part of it, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, it's more so just how many layers the opponent has to get through. Because sometimes with this version of the deck, 1 out isn't enough. And then, if they lock all your options out, then you can't win the game, just straight up.
It does dedicate a decent amount of spots to, a fail state.
Fuck, it's an anti-ability. Fuck.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing in Yu-Gi-Oh! History there are cards that, blow up the whole back row.
Well, Lightning Storm and Evenly Matched, those are 2.
Yeah. And they kind of have a counter answer to that, but you don't. While you can always get the mine, maybe you can't always get the right answer to the right. Declaring the wrong card and it just doesn't come up, or it got sideboarded up, or any of those kind of mind games can get you with cards like these. And the Goddess on her own is just chilling. It's not card advantage. I can see the downsides. I can also, it does seem exactly like the kind of deck designed to make people angry. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, it does seem very all-in, though, on that plan. So, I'm curious to see what the other version does.
Yeah, and you have to think about it contextually. So, at this time in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, this deck wasn't a meta deck. This was considered a rogue contender for sure, and would catch people off guard. The thing is, decks would not run main deck spell and trap removal that was not in the form of a spell or trap. A monster effect might be able to destroy a spell or trap, but if Mystic Mine is up, those are all useless, right? Yeah. Because all the other good decks, quote-unquote, didn't care about having to destroy spells and traps. And so that was just, again, another opportunity for a deck like this to thrive, because if Mystic Mine's shutting off all the monster effects, and they don't have a way to destroy your spells and traps in the form of a spell or trap, look at Lightning Storm Evenly Matched, but even so, those 2 cards were typically relegated to the side deck, then that was where this deck had the opportunity to really thrive and just absolutely just body people if you ran into it in a tournament.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. So that's the first iteration. So now let's go and show you the second iteration. Maybe this guy
laughing.
Maybe this card will look familiar. That's why.
Ajama Trio. Oh, this fucking god. Oh god, this nightmare fuel. Trap, special summon these 3 tokens, to your opponent's side in defense position that cannot be tributed or tribute summoned, and each time one is destroyed, his controller takes 300 damage. I remember this. So it takes up spots on their board, and obviously makes sure that the mine works. Put
it together. And guess what? If that wasn't enough Ojamas, there's more Ojamas!
Oh! Oh, good! The duo! You get 2 of these tokens to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. They cannot be tributed or trim and summoned. Each time one is destroyed, 300 damage. It's the same card so far. During either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 2 Ojama monsters with different names from your deck. So I'm guessing that's a duo and a trio.
Yeah, basically that last part's irrelevant because you're not actually playing Ojama monsters. You're basically just playing 6 copies of summon guys to your opponent's field, essentially. But you might be wondering to yourself, okay, what else are we doing, right? Like, obviously, Wabi could do this. Like, it's not like this is the only card that could do this, right? Well, go ahead and give this card a read.
Rivalry of Warlords is a trap card, another continuous trap. Each player can only control one type of monster, send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. One type of monster?
Type. So, in our case, this would be, if you look at, let's say, Silent Wabi. Wabi's a fish. So this would be the equivalent of your game of, like, elves or dragons or that sort of classification of the card.
Who chooses?
The player So if you control 2 different types when Rivalry is active, the player who owns them gets to choose.
So these Ojama tokens are light beasts?
They are beasts, yes.
Beasts is what we're looking at?
Correct.
Is beast like a popular type? Oh wait, hold on. Tokens cannot be tributed or tribute summoned. Each time one is destroyed, 300 damage. It doesn't... It feels to me like they're just going to kill off the Ojamas, unless I misunderstand this.
Well, if the Ojamas are already on their field, and you activate Rivalry of Warlords, they're stuck into only being able to summon beast-type monsters. They don't get a choice.
Because they don't get to choose? They can't choose a different type and just send them to the yard?
No, it's whatever's already on the field. So if they had, like, the Ojama tokens and other types of monsters, then they could choose to send the Ojama tokens. But if the Ojama tokens are the only thing out and you flip Rivalry, they're locked into beasts. They can't do anything else.
That doesn't seem clear from the way the card reads, but okay. Sure, that sounds fun. I'm guessing beast isn't too common of a type.
I will let you know it is not, even more so, especially during this time.
Oh, God. Okay. So another way to lock them out if you're not using the mine. Interesting.
What do you think about this card?
I like mine better.
Well, remember, you're still playing mine.
Is it better to run mine plus ways to protect mine, or is it better to run another makeshift mine on top of a mine?
That's a good question. Then that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, this is a combo, but I don't find it nearly as oppressive. They have to find a way to get rid of these before they can summon other things, or they can get rid of the trap. That's 2 points of failure. I don't think it's nearly as good as the mine. And it's 2 cards doing something like a mine. So this is fine, I think.
I'm bad. I thought it was added from the left.
Fine, I think.
And
oh my God, finally.
Rivalry wasn't enough. Here is another one.
Goes in matches a trap. Continuous. Each player can only control one attribute of monster. Light, dark. Is that what they mean?
There you go.
Send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. Okay, so then this locks them on light only. It is kind of wild how that works. But yeah, this one, I guess with the templating, makes more sense to me. Send all other face-up monsters they control the graveyard. Cool. Kills their stuff. I mean, again, this is it's a fun synergy, and obviously, I mean, fun for me.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't understand why we have cards like the trio if we're not gonna also have cards like Goes in Match and Rivalry, because this is the kind of like playing with a different resource in your game effect, and it is kind of a combo. It's definitely a schoolyard, like, ooh, oh, I do this with that, oh, now I've got them. Like, people like that. I still don't see putting these two cards together as being nearly as oppressive as the one, so I'm still fine with this. I really
Okay.
am.
So you think all these cards are fine that I've showed you so far? No problems detected.
The trio, the duo, the rivalry, the match. I think it's I don't see why you have to like ban or limit this stuff. Let the nonsense begin. That's what I say.
Okay. It might come as a shock to you that both Rivalry of Warlords and Goes in Match are actually limited to a singular copy.
Is it really because of this?
No. It's not because of this. This obviously is something. This is something that obviously it's beneficial for the strategy. Don't get me wrong, but no, similar to what I was describing to you with Solemn Judgment earlier. This is another type of effect where in the sideboards, games 2 and 3, if you're playing a mono type or mono attribute type deck and your opponent is not, let's say you're going into games 2 or 3, you board in copies of Rivalry or Gozen, and you do your opening play, whatever, you set your Rivalry or Gozen in the back row, your opponent attempts to start playing the game, you flip up Rivalry or you flip up Gozen, all of a sudden they can't play the game's basically over, so you just move on to the next one or the match is concluded. And so, not a very fun play pattern, and so these cards, as well as many of the other floodgates that are similar in their effects, which, even them being limited, I think a YCS recently was won by one of these types of effects, they're all restricted to a singular copy. What do you think about that?
I still don't see the problem. Shouldn't there be a reward for limiting yourself to a specific type of monster? Like these kind of things happen in Magic all the time, where you get a reward for playing all the vampires, or all the smalls, or all the bigs, or all the whatever it be. And it's like the idea that they don't get to play the game just tells me that they didn't sideboard well. Like, that's all. Like, you have to be more flexible after sideboarding. You can't just, especially a combo deck. Like, this is combo 101 in Magic. It's like, after sideboard, you have to both have answers to different kinds of things that the opponent will use against you. You should probably have a variety of win conditions, right? So that you don't just rely on doing the thing every time. But apparently in Yu-Gi-Oh, this is straight up sacrilege and must be curtailed in the format. We simply can't have somebody not able to do their combo. Oh my god.
So here's the last card from this second strategy here. Not really part of like the other Ojama stuff or the rivalry stuff that I've shown you, but give this a read.
Dark Ruler No More is a spell. Have I seen this?
I think I've shown. Yeah, you've seen some of these cards before. I think I've shown you this one before.
All right. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, your opponent takes no damage. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. Sweet. Sweet card. You're going to tell me it's limited or banned, aren't you?
Okay. I mean, that's for you to decide.
Obviously, it's just good fun, shut you down, make the game last a little longer, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't handle such things. I feel like it got limited. Okay, but I'm not positive. I know I saw it before, but I like it.
Do you see the purpose of it in the Mystic Mind strategy?
I mean, the opponent taking no damage isn't a downside. Neither player activating monster effects isn't a problem because you don't play them. Is there something special that I'm missing? Let's see. And we're talking specifically with, like, the Ojamas and such?
No, just Mystic Mind specifically.
Am I missing something? It just seems like a good control card.
So, the purpose of Dark Ruler is, and one of the issues of playing a deck like Mystic Mind is going second, right? Because if your opponent's able to set up their board first, when you attempt to activate Mystic Mind, and this is similar to Magic the Gathering, the card is sort of like in the, like, it's in like the weird quarantine zone where it's like not actually active yet because your opponent has the chance to like respond and negate it, right? So if you go activate Mystic Mind as Chainlink 1 or the first card on the stack, and your opponent has a way to interact with, negate, or destroy the Mystic Mind before it actually hits the field, the monster effects are still fair game until that Mystic Mind resolves, is active, and now everything is being shut down by the Mind. Going second, that's where this card or this deck can struggle a little bit because it has to sort of get through whatever the opponent put out before sticking the Mystic Mind, and if the Mystic Mind sticks, you most likely win the game. Dark Ruler is an answer to be able to actually do that, because if your opponent sets up a bunch of monsters with different effects to either negate or destroy a Mystic Mind, you go, okay, Dark Ruler, everything's negated, activate the Mystic Mind, it now resolves because your opponent can't interact with it. You can just end the turn, the Mystic Mind is active, all your opponent's stuff is negated, and you either just mill them out or burn them over the course of several turns.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So it's the pre-counter. It's the silence before you play your mind.
Right.
Sure.
It's the way to force the mind through, essentially, because that's like the difficult part if you're going second. And so that's it. That's the two variants of the deck. There's probably like a couple other like different versions, but for the most part, these are the two most like streamlined of the variants. So I think I know which way you're leaning, but what do you think between the two?
So one version runs Goddess Skulls, Oracle, Prohibition, and Field Barrier as like differentiators, and the other runs Ojama's Rivalry, Goes in Match, and Dark Ruler.
Yes.
I like the Dark Ruler card a lot.
I bet you do. A lot of people.
Yeah, I like that card a lot.
You also said you thought Dark Ruler got limited. Dark Ruler's fine. It's been in 3 copies forever.
Good.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Very healthy card, actually. Very healthy card.
Dude, they're too ugly. I hate these freaking duos, these trios. We might have found what I'm actually unable to play. If I'm seriously choosing between, like, the Ojamas and Goddess Skulls Oracle, come on. What can I
did put her in the waifu video. I did put her in the waifu video for you.
It's absolutely an endurance test of how many rounds in a row you can look at these ugly little bastards.
Is that what it is? Is that the differentiator?
I think it is.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think that, man, what kind of a heartless, soulless creature could make it all the way through however many rounds playing these Ojama trios every single round and keeping their sanity? It seems wild. I mean, I know which deck I like, which is the Field Barrier Prohibition version. And in Magic, that is what I would go with. So both decks have the pots, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think this through.
So both decks have the pots, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that the Ojamas are the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, and I couldn't do it. But you know what else I can't really do anymore? Win a tournament with a stall-out control deck. I can't make it, dude. 8 rounds, 9 rounds, 10 rounds. That's so long. I can't play Magic the way I used to. I can't play card games the way I used to. I can't make it. So if somebody shows up with these, they have to, like I said, be an absolutely heartless, soulless machine. They have to be a true Terminator. And that's the type of monster you need to win one of these events. It's not just that you're playing a toxic strategy. It's psychological damage at every turn.
Okay.
And I don't know if Rivalry or Goes In Match were limited at the time, but there's like an extra kick to the balls of also dropping this on them when it's also just as hated.
Okay.
Man, also this Dark Ruler No More card is insane, I think. So, I like the Field Barrier Prohibition deck more, but I can see more potential holes in it. And on the just flavor side of like which is most likely to tilt people into oblivion and have them play horribly against you because they're so angry. Maybe I'm overrating that, but for the fun of it, I'll say that the Ojama trio, the Ojama squad, is the group that actually made it to the top 8 finals and won the thing.
Well, let's go ahead and take you to YCS Rio de Janeiro in 2022, where, this is going to blow your mind, the deck with the most representation in the top cut was Tier Limit.
Whoa! The hero we needed! Yes! Yes! Talk about an oops all villains arc. Continue.
And where Mystic Mind burned, out of the top 32, there was one player piloting this atrocity.
Oh, hold up. Did we say which version got played? Now that I know that Tier Limits was...
Oh, do you want to change your mind? Do you want to change your mind?
Kind of. Okay. Hold on.
Okay, I'll let you change.
You have to admit, it makes Prohibition a lot better when everyone's on the same deck.
Sure, I will say Tier Limit had 12 of the top 32 decks in Top Cut.
Oh, do I change my mind?
I'll let you know top 8.
Change my mind?
Top 8, 3 of the top 8 were Tier Limit.
Oh, God, I want to change my mind, but no, I'll stick with it. It does make Prohibition a lot better. But
sure.
It's fine. I'm holding on. So, because it doubles down to my theory that a true psychopath had to do this. And they... the Tier Limit meta, a true psychopath had to do this. They had to be Ojami people. They had to be.
Oh my God, I can't. So, YCS Rio de Janeiro 2022. When Tier Limit was considered one of the best decks of the format, one hero came along and took the entire event with Mystic Mind Bird. And it was, in fact, the one with the Ojamas. You got it correct, CGB. You got it correct.
All vibes, baby. 100%
All
vibes. Turned
All
off my
vibes.
rational brain. Turned off my art aesthetic. Turned off everything. Just go full psychopath. That's how you find who won with a deck like this. Because it's not about X's and O's. It's about endurance. Mental endurance.
It's so funny because as good of a deck as Terralyn is, I mean, we consider Terralyn to be the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, and probably will be till the end of time. I don't know how they're going to top it, to be honest.
For what it's worth, that was kind of a close match. I made a lot of mistakes during that game. Maybe I could have won if I didn't make any of those mistakes. Mugen, I'm very certain I didn't make any mistakes, but then again, you're playing fucking Mugen, it's kind of hard to make mistakes in such a brain-dead deck. Brain-dead. I'm happy enough with that build, I suppose.
One of the biggest weaknesses of the deck is that it does not play spell and trap removal in the form of a spell or trap. Funny enough, it has an in-archetype spell that does deal with spells and traps, but they don't play it because every other deck in the format doesn't really care about that. So most of their spell and trap removal is relegated to the side deck, and this is the story of Mystic Mind Bird, which is so funny, is that anytime you're going